on? Oh my God, you guys. Thank you so much for your patience. I can't stand my own inabilities sometimes. And you're so nice, Sifa, to offer help. So Larissa says, Kaz, no, I'm not in touch actually, but I'm in touch with CCTV. And I've missed so much of the conversation. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for being patient with me. Look at all these awesome comments I've missed. Look at that. Almost 50 minutes worth of comments, starting with you, Larissa. I owe you guys big time. Pizzagate. Yeah, I know Pizzagate. I know it doesn't even sound like a real thing. What are you doing? No, please. What are you doing? You want the computer? Okay. Hold on, you guys. My goodness, go that way. It's right inside the door. Okay, yeah, so, technical difficulties, family difficulties. It's a snow day here, and so I got a house full of people. Is my thing working? Podesta, yeah. Okay, so let me just jump right in here. Okay, you're fine, babe. It's right there. Got it? Thanks, honey. Sorry to be mean. Oh my goodness. So yeah, what am I, like an hour and a half late from what I started with? I think I started with 9:15. Okay, breathe deep, right? So you guys, I'm just like thrilled to death about the Gabby Petito case. That judge granted the motion to add Bertolini to the lawsuit. Do you know how rare it is for a lawyer to get sued, especially in a high profile case like that? And that's awesome. And it's setting precedents because it ties right in with this other case over in Idaho. That lawyer could probably not be sued herself because she's a state appointed, court appointed defense attorney, but the court could be sued. There ain't no way. I'm just going to cut straight to the chase. But first I have to say, everything I say is my opinion only, simply for the sake of conversation, hoping to have a discussion, an intelligent discussion, and hoping to learn something, hoping to be educational. My videos are made specifically for YouTube, and in that I always like to cover the entertainment quality of YouTube because YouTube is an entertainment platform, as we all know. So this case in Idaho, there ain't no way on this earth in the United States of America that attorney, Ann Taylor, is legitimately on the case of the criminal defendant that is accused of murdering the daughter of the client that she had for 6 weeks up until January 5th. That's freaking crazy. And I want to say I'm not an expert in law. I know a lot about law, but there's so much to know, and nobody's really an expert. I mean, everything is always new. Judges are the most expert, of course. Lawyers are the second most expert, and they spend their whole lives learning this stuff and then getting thrown curveballs. And you just never know. Like when people say there's no such thing as a slam dunk, that's because you never, ever, ever know what's going to happen. So I think that the court could get sued for appointing this attorney, taking her off of Xana Kernodle's mother's case and appointing her to this one. That's my understanding, is that that's how it happened, that it was court appointed. So that would not make her the recipient of the lawsuit, although she would probably be named in the lawsuit. And really, everybody should have some common sense and decency, and she should recuse herself. Conflict of interest. She could have stayed on Xana Kernodle's mother's defense. Conflict of interest, like times a freaking million. Worst case scenario is that he gets convicted and then they can throw the whole thing out saying that there was that conflict of interest from the get-go. She had too much influence from one of the victim's mothers, and then she shot his case. Worst case scenario. I'm really passionate about it, you guys. And, sometimes I feel like I need to apologize for my passion, and other times I'm like, nah, that's why people watch me, right? So let me catch up with you guys. Oh, you're so sweet. Hey, One Way Street, I love you guys. I could just cry. I'm so emotional. Ah, imagine if I was on drugs. No, I'm just kidding. Or drunk, right? Okay, tears of joy. Seriously, that is like the sweetest thing. So worth the wait. My goodness. I love you guys. It's totally worth the wait for me. But then I'm the one behind the scenes here, kind of controlling things, kind of not, because, I got, like I said, a house full of people. So what you gonna do? Um, I'm certainly not gonna cancel. I mean, that can happen, but no, that can't happen. This really is my top priority. I'm so into this whole process, and I appreciate so much those of you that are into it with me. So thank you. Thank you. Little Nixon there, right? No, I just can't get over it. Anyway, so I did my spiel. Please hit that thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. I lost a few subs. I'm totally cool with that. I'm at like 2,999. So if anybody in the chat hasn't subbed, or if you got your sub, like if it lost because you shared something, hit that sub button and then you'll be number 3,000. But like I say all the time, I'm not about the numbers. I'm really not. It could be 300. It really could, for all I care. I care about the freaking truth. I'm not going to get into this clickbait stuff. Like, I was so careful today how I worded my headers, because I'm like, I don't want to do the clickbait thing. I want to be real in my excitement about what has happened with the Petito case. They're laying the groundwork to prove that he escaped. That's from News Nation. That's exactly what I was hoping they were doing with this whole lawsuit, was trying to lay the groundwork to prove that he's not deceased. And let me just jump right in there, because I always like to tell you guys that I know things, and I don't like to brag, and I don't like to tell you how I know, because it's just not cool. But we all know this, okay? We all get gaslit all the time. The cadaver dogs out there in that reserve in Florida searching for Brian Laundrie, right? They said the dogs couldn't smell his remains because there was 8 feet of water, okay? A cadaver dog can find remains under 20 feet of frozen water. And you wonder why the people, the handlers of the dogs, don't confront these spokespeople for the police department and say, what the F are you talking about? Like, this is my dog that has found people all over the world in way worse conditions than this. Like 95 degrees and 8 feet of water, you're going to smell everything, right? Okay. I have actually asked one of these dog handlers, why don't you go to the freaking police chief and tell him the way it is? And you know what? They're never going to, because the police are the only ones that hire them. So they're not going to burn that bridge. They're just going to roll with it, because they know the police do what they want to do, because that's the business that they're in. That's what they do. Okay. I am so self-conscious in watching my videos from yesterday. I'm like, man, I just sound like I hate cops, and I don't. I absolutely love police. Okay. I really do. I love law enforcement. I love structure. I love routine. I love responsibility. I hate liars. I freaking hate liars. Okay. I want to read some of your stuff. I'm missing out on you guys. I'm willing to collaborate with anyone as long as they're respectful. LOL. Well, Larissa, I want to be in on your scene. Absolutely. I'm so glad Gabby's parents are getting some justice. Well, hopefully. This is huge. Just getting Bertolini, getting his name onto the lawsuit is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. The guy's toast. I'm kind of surprised that they allowed it, just because, lawyers know people. So nice. Icon, is that really you? I'll contact you, Sifa. Yeah, you guys, can I get in on your action? Larissa, Sifa, and me, I think we could do some serious heavy lifting, don't you? Just capitalizing on our skill set and doing what we're comfortable with and working together. No bullshit. I know you guys have no tolerance for that. I mean, look what happened to that whole situation of people that were trying to work on the Gabby Petito case. Or sorry, Kylie Rodney case. I'm all excited about Gabby Petito. So that was really sad, but I sort of saw that coming. It's hard to work in a group. It's really hard to trust people. It's hard to, the frustration tolerance just for things like when you have timing issues or technology issues or life issues. It's really hard to do a group project, whatever that project is. But, people on YouTube want clicks and likes and subs and big paychecks. And sure, that's all fine and dandy. I'm not going to knock it, but that's not what this is about. And honestly, really, in the real world, when the law enforcement catches up with this social media technology, those people could go to jail that are hindering the investigation and passing on disinformation. If they're doing it accidentally as misinformation, they probably couldn't be held legally liable. Probably, but that's not for sure. But if they are intentionally passing on disinformation, that's called interfering with an investigation, obstruction of justice. And just because it's on social media in cyberspace doesn't mean it's not real. It all affects the way people think, public persuasion. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. I mean, I would like it if people that spread disinformation were held accountable and got sued and got even, I'll just say it, jail time. Okay, there, my high horse, I'm off. Let's get down to it. Well, we know you don't lie, Justice. We love you. Anytime that I have like a little piece of information that I can't really tell you exactly about it, like where I got it, I'm like, how can I do it without being misleading? So sometimes I just have to leave it out. So like the thing with like the dogs, I know for a fact that dogs can find a body in 20 feet of frozen water in a river. This happened in Columbus, Ohio in, what was it, 3 years ago, I think? I'll find her name. She was 28 years old. She was Black. She was an activist. And she wound up dead in the river. And the dog found her. So the same exact dog that found her was then accused of not being able to find somebody in I don't know, a foot of frozen snow and maybe a little bit of water. It was a lie. It was a huge freaking lie. That's all I can say. Like I said, I love sharing stuff with you, but the problem with law enforcement is that you can't talk about this stuff. There's that code of silence that is real. It's 100% real. And it goes with lawyers, it goes with law enforcement, it goes with first responders, especially like emergency medics, because that's getting into HIPAA stuff. If it's police work, it really doesn't matter if it's HIPAA. If it's police, that's public information. But they will twist that sometimes and they'll hide it under HIPAA law, like mental health stuff. Like say with the guy in Pullman with the mental health crisis that did his SWAT team thing on December 14th last year, just now, a month ago. Okay, was his name Keith? Is that right? Something with a K. KB. We'll just call him KB. Yeah, like what's up with that? Of course, right away I was suspicious. I had a red flag. And it's been 23 years it's been 13 years since I moved back to Ohio from the Pacific Northwest. I was away from Ohio for 23 years. So sorry about that. My brain, turn on. So, like I had not even thought about that whole thing with how Wazoo is called Wazoo. And everybody there is proud that it's a freaking zoo. And then we find all this crap out about the damn PD that goes on and on and on and on. And I know other channels are finding all kinds of crazy stuff with Wazoo PD. And then we got the whole thing with Pullman PD. So you guys, I want to see your comments, but I'm just so distracted by these things that I've been picking up with my antennas. Brian, criminal defendant, BK, that BK, criminal defendant, we all know, emailed with the police chief from Pullman, who's now the police chief at Wazoo. I've gone over that a million times, and so has everybody else. He then applied for an internship in the fall. So fall to me means the very earliest it could have been August. Like, you're not going to call July fall. Some people start calling August fall, which bothers me, because really September to me really isn't even fall. It's early fall, it's late summer. To me, fall is October, November, and then you got winter. But we know these things happened on November 13th that the criminal defendant is accused of. In the fall, he recontacted the Pullman PD to try to get that internship. So first it was an assistantship in, April 12th that was to start on August 22nd. And I've gleaned, probably you guys have too, that he was one of the final four. So this is a presumption that maybe he didn't get it. And so then he applied for an internship, which is maybe like a way of saying, I still want to work with your department and I'll do it for free. I don't know. That's just a guess. That's pure speculation. But what I do know is that he did absolutely apply for an internship at Pullman Police Department in the fall. Okay. Can we jump from that to Kaylee calling the police in 2021 about the 62-year-old woman that was missing, that was a high risk because she had diabetes? You guys have heard about this, right? She thought she saw this woman in the Walmart. She called Moscow PD and she spoke with a police officer. I don't know if this was over the phone or in person. I don't know. I would imagine over the phone, but I don't even want to say that because I just don't know. For all I know, she walked into the police department, or they just wanted to meet her in person to get a better feeling for her story. Because I'm going to tell you, the police don't trust anybody, okay? So maybe that's part of the problem of people not trusting the police. Because you call 911 and you say somebody's in my house and they're killing me, you're suspect number one. I kid you not. This is how it works. Because probably about half the time, the people calling 911 are in on the deal. Okay, so they don't trust anybody. Anyway, when they're trying to get Kaylee's story about seeing this woman in Walmart, the police officer that she worked with is the same police officer who's, I believe, the actual head of the whole quadruple homicide. Same police officer. I know for a fact that the same police officer she worked with is working on the case, but I'm pretty sure he's head honcho. I don't know the guy's name. If I'm correct, that would be the 26-year-old that has 2 years of experience with this department and 4 years experience under his belt, and he's already a supervisor. Which, sure, that could mean he's super smart, but I'm telling you, that ain't cool. Like, you shouldn't be a supervisor with 2 years in a department and 2 years only to add to that. 26 years old, that's wet behind the ears. Okay, I'm going to slow down. A longtime friend of mine trains cadaver dogs labs, and he too said they sniff up to 20 feet. Thank you, A One-Way Street. I'm so glad I caught that, and I'm so sorry that I've missed all your other comments. I always try to go back and read them. Because you guys have so much great information. So if there's stuff that I missed that you want me to see, please just insert it. That would be much appreciated. Larissa, are you still at searching for closure? Is that like a channel, or I'm not sure? Kaz thinks. So yeah, the crew that we have here, you guys, Caleb Lee. Here, I'm gonna, Caleb Lee says, me too, Zena. I left Ohio in the 80s, and when I came back and all of my childhood friends were mad at me, the most hurtful words they said were, why did you come back? I had people say that to me when I came back 13 years ago. Absolutely. That's hilarious. Okay, Dilly Owen says Michelle After Dark is covering this too, and it's more likely that he had access to CSI Lab, would give him access to so many things. And yeah, if he was doing an internship, I don't want to be making accusations against law enforcement officials. I really don't. I mean, I watched my videos yesterday and I was kind of like, I got to like temper it down because I love law enforcement. I love law enforcement. Okay. Absolutely. I'm 100% supportive of anybody who's willing to do that type of work. I don't think I could do it. I mean, I've done like brain police kind of work, but that's just the psychobabble stuff, you know? I don't think I could be a policewoman. I just don't. I have the most respect for people that do. And I just, watching my videos yesterday, I kind of felt like I'm kind of like trashing police. But no, I'm trashing corrupt police. And a lot of departments have corruption. A lot. As we've seen with Nevada County, Placer County, and now Pullman, Wazoo. And I'm going to make the allegation of potentially Moscow PD. Oh, and I did get it for certain that the University of Idaho does not have their own police department. They have their own security. So University of Idaho does not have a police department the way Wazoo does. But Wazoo's police department, not being part of the sheriff and police camaraderie of Washington State, that tells me that that was really just security as well, right? Oh, grr. Sassafras, that sad Caleb Lee, and they don't sound like nice friends. You know, people get so hurt when you move or when you quit a job. People act like you're dumping them. They literally take it so personal. It's wild, isn't it? And so usually when you're about to leave a job or an area, people want to get a reason to get mad at you because they're mad at you and they're confused. They don't understand why they're mad at you because they know they love you and they're going to miss you. So they try to invent something to get pissy with you so that they can say, good, I'm glad they're gone, right? I mean, like I was saying yesterday, that joke about, and it's a stand-up comedian. I was going to look it up. The joke about quit, got fired, what difference does it make? The only difference really is, were you invited to the party or not? It's the truth, right? I mean, it's so funny. Okay. Basically, this case has mistrial written all over it. I don't want to say it. I mean, I don't want to like plant that seed, but and let me just state that it's my impression and my opinion that the criminal defendant is guilty, okay? It's my impression that he's involved. It's also my opinion that he very well might not be the lone gunman, so to speak. A lone wolf is what they're trying to make him out to be. A freaking ninja with stealth ability and assassin training. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. I don't believe that he went in that house, did all that in somewhere between 6 and 9 minutes or even 15 minutes. I'm not buying it. I don't think it's possible. I really am not buying that story, period. Okay. But like I said, I don't think he's innocent. I don't want anyone to mistake my opinion for wanting to protect him. No. I want to protect our court system. I want him to be found guilty in a court of law, not in public opinion. And public opinion has nothing to do with the court of law, nothing to do with it. But this is why they have the gag order, because it gets murky. It gets murky, right? Cass, I am still at that email. Okay. That was the email address. Gotcha. Snow day in our state, Justice. Yeah. Snow everywhere. Everywhere. Caleb, I hope not for so many reasons. No doubt BK all day, but many things are off in this case. Many things are off. Like, just, you know, if you've been watching my videos for the last couple of weeks, you know that I want to protect any victim that is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, from survivor's guilt. I want to protect any victim, of course. And I want to protect the victims' families because they're all victims too. They're absolutely victims. But we all know it's not adding up with that whole 8 hours and people coming over to the house. The 8 hours could almost add up if somebody was frozen and asleep and then woke up and then the rest happened. But for friends to be called, for Ethan's brother and sister to be there, and I'm not pointing fingers at Ethan's brother and sister by any means. But if that's how these kids were rolling, which it sounds like that's how they were rolling, is they knew something awful happened. They called all these other people, not police, not 911. Obviously, there's a reason that they didn't do that. A little kid would call 911. These are grown-ups, young adults, 19, 20. Yeah, Ethan's siblings are 20, and the two surviving roommates were 19. And then we don't know who the other people were. Who were the other people, and what were they doing? And I don't think it's insane or cruel to accuse them of potentially hiding drugs. Come on. Anybody that's gone to college, and you don't even have to have gone to college to know that there's a lot of drugs on pretty much every single campus across the country. Every single campus. Like when I was in high school, I thought, I got to get myself together because I like to party too much and I got to like quit doing that before I go to college. My friend that was already in college are like, are you serious? Do you have any idea what you just said makes no sense at all? And I was like, but I want to learn when I'm in college. And yeah, it's just a party animal scene. Hey, Kelly, what's up? Oh, girl, your video yesterday, how many people got to go watch that video? I left my last video asking you guys to go to that 15-minute and 45-second mark. And I didn't even get to do it. I mean, I had gone to it again and again, but I meant to go back into it before hitting up you guys with this live. I just about to leave early. Huge snowstorm here. Oh, yeah, totally. Yes. It's coming from Ohio straight to New York. So if you have a second, Kelly, from What's the Obsession, that mark on your 21-minute video from yesterday, which was phenomenal, expert, amazing. Thank you kindly. Thank you for debunking the debunking. Okay. What the words that were spoken at the 45-minute mark approximately, or something about, I don't want to ruin anybody's continued employment. Is that accurate? It was something, the voice analysis. Right around that 15-minute, 45-second mark of that 21-minute video that Kelly dropped yesterday. Something about, and it sounds like the criminal defendant saying it, he didn't want to do anything that was going to hurt anyone's continued employment. Isn't that what he said? Yeah, Kelly. Oh, if I could just split my screen with you. I got to figure out how to do that stuff. I got to buy the, I probably want to go with Pro Edit or something like that. I don't know about this StreamYard that I was going to go with. It seems like everybody's been having trouble with it. Okay. It doesn't matter whether it's insane or cruel. There is no good reason to question victims from our perspective. Okay. I'm questioning the whole situation, and there is a very good reason for that. I'm going to go ahead and highlight your comment, even though I feel like it's kind of rude. Because I agree with protecting the victims, but smack my damn head. We have 4 dead people. We have blood dripping out of the freaking house. These victims should not have been calling anyone but 911. And let me just say this in response to that. That 911 call is illegally being hidden from the public. And we need to know why. There's sunshine laws, you guys. Sunshine laws are designed to protect our country from being run by a corrupt government. Seriously, that's pretty simple. So, Caroline, your comment is appreciated, but I need to ask you to be reasonable, because if you're going to be rude, smack my damn head, I'm going to at least delete your comment. And, I have that no troll tolerance, and I don't know you. I don't know that you're a troll, but yeah, I know all about victimology, okay? I'm not going to say I'm an expert, because I don't believe in experts, period. Every situation is different. Anyway, I'm a little angry. So yeah, I know that they deserve the space to do what they need to do. The old saying, there's no wrong way to respond to a tragedy. I don't know. I mean, I would say like Kylie Rodney's mother, Lindsay, she might have responded the wrong way to a tragedy, even though there's quote unquote not a wrong way to respond. A week after your child is deceased is not the time to say we got bills to pay. I don't care if you have bills to pay. That's wrong. That's absolutely wrong. You have to question everyone. Really, do not question Dylan or Beth. Are you kidding me? Right. I mean, treating them with kid gloves and giving them space to do what they need to do. But those are your prime witnesses. And then you got the police not including, is her name Bethany, right? Bethany Funk. Not including her in the affidavit. That makes me suspicious too. She was there. She was one of their contacts. Why was she totally left out of everything? And the whole situation with Dylan, when you get more and more into the geography, the logistics of that house and where her bedroom door was, so close to the stairs and right there looking into the kitchen. I'd like to discuss this with you guys a little bit. Oh, let's see what Kelly says, but I want to discuss a little bit about the order that things may have happened. Did you hear Maddie's stepmom had the same attorney as Xana? Maddie's stepmom? I haven't heard that one. Interesting. As Xana's mother, right? So Maddie's stepmother had the same attorney, and see, she's court appointed, it's my understanding, so that would make sense because they both got in trouble for drugs, it's my understanding. So again, when you've got Maddie and Xana's mothers getting in trouble for drugs, and you got this suspicious situation going on with this tragedy, you need to look at that. He doesn't want to cause a contentious situation or jeopardize anyone's continued employment. As he said, he got all those details from current Ellie, which is bullshit. Unless he was interning there, Kelly. He applied for an internship. I'm sure you know this. So he applied for the assistantship in April, which he was down to the final for. It doesn't sound like he got it, but he might have. But then he applied for another internship in the fall. So we need to research the dates of that exactly. And did he get that internship? Both of those were with the Pullman PD. And, the Pullman PD were the ones that searched his house or his apartment. I'm sorry, but after finding out what we have after being told she didn't hear anything, it's been wild since. I know. And I think it's okay to change your mind too, like suspecting this and not suspecting that. And then you get more information or you just think it through differently. But yeah, I don't by the leave alone the two witnesses, the two surviving witnesses. Those people need to be interviewed, of course, gently. You know what it reminds me of? Kelly from What's the Obsession? Leave Jim alone. Leave Jim alone. Anybody who doesn't know What's the Obsession and the Watts case and Jim, that's NK, Chris Watts's girlfriend, mistress, who skated away from this whole thing. And her friend who was staying with her the weekend that it happened is named Jim. And when they asked her about Jim, her response was, leave Jim alone. Right? That's like the infamous quote, leave Jim alone. It feels like a repeat of that with these girls. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. They're victims. Well, yeah, they are victims. And they went through a tremendously, insanely traumatic experience, but they still need to be interviewed. And their information needs to be assessed and weighed out and acted on. Okay. Watts says, but he was not interning as far as I know. I think those details would not be disclosed to interns personally. I think he knew because he was there. No need to know through internship, in my opinion. Right. Good point, Miss Kelly. You are so smart. Yeah, I was saying, I think before you got here, I 100% think that the criminal defendant is guilty of his part in this situation. 100%. It's okay to change your mind, peeps. It's called critical thinking, and don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. And yeah. Roguehouse says, agree, it's okay to go back with opinions until we know everything. Right. And sometimes you just process information differently. Sometimes you think of it differently. That's why it's good to step away, get a fresh perspective, get some distance, do your exercise or go to the zoo, not wazoo, but you know what I mean. Go to an art museum, just do something, go garden, do something that just puts you in that frame of mind where you're thinking about other stuff. You're like out on a date with your spouse, you're ice skating with your kids, you're doing something different, and then you'll see things more clearly and you'll see things differently too when you step away. Leave roomies alone. Kelly, I got to tell you, when I read that at first, I was like, wait, what are you saying? You're saying leave roomies alone? And then I was like, wait, okay, I tied it all together. Right. It's exactly the same thing. Leave Jim alone. And anyone who's covered Watts the Obsession or the Shanann Watts, Nico, Cece, Bella tragedy, most people that have paid any attention to that case at all believe that NK got away scot-free, and probably her leave Jim alone friend got away scot-free with some crap. And so that's what he's called on channels like What's the Obsession and Armchair Detective that have been covering that case for years. They don't call him Jim. They call him Leave Him Alone Jim. And it's the same thing here with these roommates, hiding them behind that, wanting to protect them and coddle them. And yeah, of course we want to protect them and coddle them, but we also need them to speak the truth. And they had some type of involvement as being victims. They had some type of involvement because they were there. Okay. That's their involvement. That's a lot of involvement. That doesn't mean that they're guilty of anything. And if they made some stupid mistakes and waited 8 hours before calling the police and called all their friends to come clean out the drugs before that, that's stupid, but it's also understandable if they thought they were going to get in trouble for that crap. You could do one of the yoga videos posted on my channel. Oh, you're so cute. I know. I want to do your yoga videos. I love yoga and I love Kelly. Pamela says 100%. Roguehouse says, I'm going to check that out. What's the Obsession? And check out that 21-minute video where he says that thing. Like, I'm going to go back to that quote and repost it. Where is the quote? He doesn't want to cause a contentious situation or jeopardize anyone's continued employment. So he makes it sound like he knows stuff from working for the PD, but maybe he didn't get the internship or the assistantship, and that's part of his anger, and that's part of his acting out with this horrible criminal activity. Maybe, possibly. He said, as he said, he got all those details from current LE, which is bullshit. Right. He might have been trying to get the LE in trouble, right? He might have been trying to plant those seeds, those conspiracy theory seeds. But the thing that makes me the most questionable about the whole police department is still that photograph from the back of the corner club, roughly maybe 2 hours before at the most, maybe 2.5 hours before the people were unalived. But that video still shot was only taken less than an hour before Kaylee and Maddie started calling Jack D. So Jack D's sitting there on the bar stool talking to them. And then we're supposed to believe that less than an hour later, he's like dead asleep and can't be woken up by 9 phone calls and a text. That doesn't add up in my mind. It really doesn't. Stifa says, just brainstorming, but if by chance he was accepted as the intern, would that give him access to the crime lab? Because that day the system did some weird stuff until after the unaliving happened. Such a good point. And does anyone know if the other BK guy, the 36-year-old vet who was done unalived by the SWAT team, was he actually the IT guy at the University of Idaho? Like, there's been rumors. I don't know if that's accurate or not. What's the Obsession says, I only have 2 posted, but I will post more. I've been teaching yoga and Pilates for over 20 years. Yoga, when done with care, is good for everyone. Yeah, and I haven't ever been a yoga instructor, but I have wanted to be a yoga instructor. I've done a lot of yoga training. And yeah, it's important not to push yourself. It's important not to push yourself with any exercise. It's really important to go slow and go easy. It can really backfire if you get too over ambitious, right? We've probably all been there. And yeah, one of my favorite forms of yoga, especially if you're just trying to get into an exercise routine, I want to say it's called yin yoga or yang yoga. Maybe you can help me, Kelly. It's this yoga where you do these positions, just a stretch, but instead of holding it for like 10 or 20 seconds, you hold it for like 2 or 3 minutes. And it doesn't sound like a big deal, but it is. It's awesome. And you don't have to push yourself into the stretch that hard because you're holding it for so long, but you can make adjustments as you go and just kind of work through aches and pains while you're doing it. And it's phenomenal. It's almost like taking a nap, but more rejuvenating than taking a nap. Is it yang yoga or yin yoga? Have you heard of it, Kelly? I know that being of the level that you're at, you've probably at least heard of it. If he wasn't, you would think they'd just come out and tell us he wasn't. Sifa, that's what I've been thinking and saying exactly, 100%. Hope you don't mind. YouTube still have this video restricted, so it's not being distributed in recommendations. Is this the yoga video? Oh, that's the 21-minute video. No, I don't mind at all. Thank you, Kelly. Oh, that's evil. Evil YouTube. Okay, I'm going to highlight that, you guys. You definitely want to check out if you haven't yet. It's a 21-minute video. You can even watch it on double speed if you're short for time. So 10 minutes. And again, when you get to that 15-minute, 45-second mark, like that really piqued my interest. Oh, that's awesome. Thanks so much, Kelly. You're the bomb. From what I understand about BK's class, he also had access to the cameras around town. Forget what channel had it. Right. And I think they have live feeds on campus, don't they, in their lab? In their lab for the graduate students of criminology, they have live feeds of body cams, I believe, and other surveillance systems, I believe. That's the impression I got. I think he wanted to investigate his own crime, creepy and calculated. I agree. I absolutely agree. I think he wanted to do a lot of crazy, creepy stuff. I think he wanted to like be able to write a book that was going to be a bestseller because it was so realistic. I think that he wanted his old professor to write books about him. He wanted to go down infamous into all the criminology books. I just don't buy the whole story as it's being told. So let's get into this part real quick, you guys. We're already at 45 minutes, so this isn't really a quick topic. But Watts, the obsession went, I have to run. Oh, no, you can't. You have to stay. I'm just kidding. Let me just say real quick, you went over the order of the initials that the girls got on their tattoos. The 2 survivors got tattoos of angel wings and the 4 initials of their friends, their roommates that were done in. And do you know, oh good, it's 5 minutes, that's all we need. Do you know when they got that tattoo? Because I've heard they got that tattoo the very next day, but I don't know that that's accurate. But what I do know from watching one of your videos, one of your 4-hour videos that was totally worth every single minute of it, is that those initials are in the same order as listed in the affidavit. And Kelly, who has all kinds of connections with people in lawyers and judges, says that they're written in, that crimes are written in the affidavit in the order that they occurred. So more than likely, the order that the names are listed, which is Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and then Ethan, that more than likely that's the order that those people were unalived in the crime that night. And that then, whether it was 2 days later or 2 weeks later, then the 2 survivors got the initials in that same order. They could have had that information from the law enforcement, is one idea that I have. But if they didn't have that information from law enforcement, Kelly, you said the chances are like 1 in over 300 when you have 4 to have it in the exact same order. The chances of doing that randomly are 1 in 300. Was that right? Was that accurate? Oh, thank you, Heavenly Cloud says I hit the like on my computer and my TV. Well stated. Here is the order video. See, you guys, she is just amazing. She's so organized. She's been doing this for so long. What, coming up on 2 years, right, Kelly? In April, it'll be 2 years. You're doing great. And she works full time. And if you don't mind me telling people, you're a single mom as well. This woman is on her game. 1 in 360. I can't believe that. I literally can't believe that. Like I hadn't Googled it myself yet. And I was just like, there's just no way. So 4 numbers to get in the exact same order, the chances are 1 in 360, you guys. And if the police didn't know the order that people were unalived in, or if the police knew but didn't tell the 2 surviving witnesses, what's up with that? What is up with that? So the conversation that I wanted to get going before you left, Kelly, and it's fine if you need to go, I understand, is just the suspicions of the order of how things went. If this criminal defendant came into the house on the 2nd floor, went straight upstairs, did his business, came downstairs, all of the things that that Dylan reports hearing, like the dog and the thud and the whimpering and the crying, and the 2 sentences she states that first she heard someone's here and she thought that was Kaylee upstairs, and then she heard it's okay, I'm going to help you, and she thought that was a male voice, so that would only be one of 2 if there are only 2 dudes in the house that we know of. It doesn't really make sense to me. It makes more sense to me that maybe he started on the 2nd floor and that was the voice that said, because we know Xana was awake. We know Xana fought for her life. And it seems like Kylie was probably awake too and fought for her life. We don't know if Ethan was awake. We are pretty positive that Maddie was asleep. But could he have come in, gone into Ethan and Xana's room because they're awake, and that's not going to work out too well for him to go upstairs and do his thing with those two being awake. And he goes upstairs and does what he does up there. And I'm telling you guys, it takes a long time to actually take someone's life. It doesn't happen quick. It takes sometimes 5, 10, 20 minutes. I mean, even if it's 2 minutes, it's a long 2 minutes, right? Unless it's a gunshot, even a gunshot, it takes a little while. Usually people don't just go, they're, fading out. So could they have been fading out while he was upstairs? And then that's the whimpering and the crying. And then he comes and says, it's okay, I'm going to help you. And of course does just the opposite. It is slowly going to keep reminding everyone. Some people don't always catch the message. Everyone be sure to hit the like button, make update with Jack. What if Dee doesn't remember the order things happened? Oh, yeah. Okay. And then Kelly responds to that in Heavenly Clouds, and everyone else, thanks so much. I appreciate all of you. And please go hit that like. And I keep looking at your channel, Kelly, to see when you're doing your next live. I would love to be on the panel again if we can work it out time-wise. I know it's always tricky for us because you're a late night person and I'm an early morning person. So I think I require more sleep than you too. I can't function without my sleep. All right. Caleb Lee says, I think y'all misunderstand me when I talk about the ratios. I want to know the reason why, not if they do it or not. Okay. I'm not sure what that's referring to. And I don't want to rewind because, man, that gets so confusing trying to keep up with myself and you guys and all that. Heavenly Cloud says, my cell phone is already checked. I think when I hit like on computer, it does so on my phone. TV is not checked. When I hit like on my computer, I have to like separately. Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, my phone and my laptop, I can like things twice. So I like to do that for my peeps. If they get the chest or throat goes fast. Mormon murderer said in interview room, I got it right. One stab. I mean him. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Annie Ruler. If you want to explain yourself further, I know you always have really good comments. Very insightful. Roguehouse says, see, I personally wasn't having a problem with thinking he did do it quickly. It's pretty quick though. And to know his way around the house and yeah. And then just the whole thing, the whole kit and caboodle. I believe it's YouTube that's controlling it. Maybe Caleb Lee says, probably, maybe you're talking about the distribution of the videos or something. Sifa says they got rid of Kopaka's LinkedIn. Oh yeah. So Kopaka is Brent Kopaka. That was the vet that was in his 30s. I think he was 36, and he had the SWAT team incident on the 14th of December, and then they shot him in that exchange on the 15th. And then we all know that the criminal defendant and his father were all worked up about it while driving across country and had to tell the police officer that stopped them. Did they tell both of the law enforcement officials that pulled them over in Indiana, or did they just tell one? I've watched both of those videos a few times, but it all just becomes a big bowl of soup, right? So did they bring it up both times or just one of the times? If anybody has that off the top of their head. So yeah, let's get to wrapping up, you guys. We're getting towards an hour, and let me see. I just got a text. Let me see if I have to do anything real quick. Don't need to worry about that. Okay. There was a bunch of information that I had that I wanted to share with you guys, but I don't think I can. All right. Not yet. It has to do with the Gainesville murder, and I know Jay is for Justice was actually covering that whole case yesterday, like a long live. I tried to be in on it, but missed a lot of it. I'll have to watch it in repeat mode. Look at my shadows; they're being all weird. I'm telling you guys, this whole YouTube thing is just so troubling. It makes it look like my shirt is like lopsided, and it's not. It's just the angle of the camera, the lighting. There we go. See, okay, got it. I was probably doing that for the whole hour, huh? And you're like, what's up with her shirt? Oh my goodness. It's just nuts. And Annie Ruler says he killed wife of 33 years. Interrogation, he slipped and said, I got it right. One stab, blood gush. Saw him and screamed before stab. Mark Duenas, 25 to life for him. Oh, wow. I'm not sure what case you're talking about, but that's pretty interesting. I said all along there was more than just a random nut job. Kopaka is the SWAT death, right? We all knew something was off when Moscow PD said nothing like this has happened in 15 years or something like that. Caleb Lee, good point, because also we need to remember that the woman who was the medical examiner, the coroner, is also a defense attorney. So she was the defense attorney for that guy that stabbed somebody to death 15 years ago. I think it was 15 years ago. I might be off on the years, but that was the same guy who was arrested for like threatening to stab or stabbing himself, his wife, and their kids. And he had killed somebody. And then the woman that was the medical examiner on that person, that victim, then was hired as his defense counsel. That happened in Moscow. And that guy was arrested, I think, just like a week after this horrible tragedy. And, you know, people were kind of waving red flags in his direction for this tragedy when there was nothing connecting the two, but it did bring to the forefront the fact that that was allowed, because he got I think he got sentenced to 15 years, but then he got out on probation after 2 or something insane like that. But for her to have been the medical examiner for the victim, and then, I mean, talk about conflict of interest, you guys. I'm thinking, my understanding is that Idaho doesn't think that it's part of the rest of our country, and it just does what Idaho does. It's like its own flippin' country. Those things, I don't think that would ever happen in any other state. And I don't think that this situation right now with Xana's mother's attorney withdrawing from her case so that she can take the case of Xana's alleged murderer, no, that don't add up. Okay, Rogue House. When they found the receipt and those Dickies were on it, I just wonder what the Dickies receipts were. Electric bills have doubled. Make me laugh. Eggs are $6 here. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah, with the snow coming yesterday, I went to the grocery store and it just was out of control, crazy. Out of control, crazy. I didn't even buy that much. It was like $100. I was just like, how do people do it? I mean, I'm just so grateful to be able to keep up. Shasta County was a dateline in my county. Family approached dateline, so they slanted it their way. Bam, now admits dad did it. So are you in California, Annie Ruler? Shasta County, California? That's gorgeous out there, you guys, if you haven't been there. Whew. I don't know. I'd have to Google to see if there's a Shasta County anywhere else. Caleb Lee says, yeah, justice for Madison, Ethan, Xana. So, yeah, I'm curious if you guys have any thoughts about the order of the chronology of how things could have gone down from what I was saying about the sounds that Dylan reported hearing. If you guys have any input on that, I'll try to read through and then wrap up. And then I'm going to try to do an evening live tonight, okay? Because I usually do them in the early afternoon. and I thought evening would be good. Like maybe realistically, let's say 8 or 7:30. I'll put it up for 7:30. So hopefully we can go from 7:30 to 8:30. What is that one? Annie Ruler says, Duana's deadly cell phone affair on Facebook. My friend and I were unpaid interns for different cases. This was too high profile and could not let us transcribe such for Dateline murder. Wow, Annie. So you just explained to me why your comments are always so accurate and insightful. So you have professional experience in this type of thing. Got it. Of course. I think a lot of people on YouTube have professional experience in this kind of thing, and we can't always disclose that. I can disclose to you guys the things that I know from when I worked in Seattle, because that was a very long time ago and I'm no longer in Seattle. So maybe tonight we can get more into that if you want to remind me. I think sometimes I say I'll get more into something and then I forget to do it. So I try to write it down as soon as I wrap it up. Because I do have a lot of super interesting experience in the courts in Seattle that I can share because I have no ties to it and the cases aren't active. And, anything that happens in a court of law is public information. But like I've said, when you make a public records request, they can deny it, but they can also wonder what the heck you're asking for. And then it can put a target on your back. If you're looking at something like police corruption, it will put a target on your back. So when you do your public records requests, you try to make them bigger than the one thing you're looking for. And also, when you make them bigger, you get nice little surprises like Christmas presents. But they will say you can't go on a fishing expedition. You have to be more focused. So, it's that balance between, you don't want to be too focused because you don't want to tell them exactly what it is you're looking at. You don't want to tell them what you know. You don't have to tell them why you want it. But if you ask for something super specific, they're probably going to have a good guess of why you want it. So, all right. You may have been talking about something else. I don't know why I thought inflation. It's on all of our minds, isn't it? I mean, gas and groceries, and it's just really sad. I mean, I don't know how a lot of people are doing it. I mean, I'm amazed that we're able to, and I'm so grateful that we're able to, but at the same time, I'm resentful of having to just spend so much on basic things. Like around here, eggs were 88 cents a dozen a few years ago, you guys. I mean, like 3 years, maybe 2. Let's just say 3 to be on the safe side. 88 cents for a dozen eggs. And this is Ohio. Milk was $1 a gallon at that point in time. Like milk and eggs were so cheap. And now you can't buy anything for $1. You can't buy anything. So eggs here are probably like $5 easy, same dozen eggs. And the milk is probably like over 3.5. And that's not that bad. When I lived in Seattle, it was way worse. And that was 13 years ago. Anyway, let's get on with the show here and get to wrapping up. I want to say thanks again so much for understanding with my being late this morning. It was partially the technology trying to get into my live, which now I've done it twice. So I think I'll be able to do it smoothly the next time. And then also just everything else under the sun with having a full house. All right. Rogue House farmer saw thousands of his cattle dead. Never heard what they killed them. They were healthy. So I was at the grocery store last night, you guys, and there was no bananas. A huge flippin' grocery store. Not a single banana. I was like, this is bananas. I mean, it's just weird, right? Things are really wonky. Did you look up Amy Wayne Morris? I have not. The 40-year-old from from Nevada County. I have not. See if there's anything you want to share, please do, or we can talk about it in the tonight live if you're available. But yeah, please feel free to share anything. I haven't looked it up yet, but I will try to do that today. See you at 7:30. Justice for Kylie, and thanks everyone for a wonderful session. Please have a wonderful Wednesday, Zena. I just got to say, Caleb, that's funny. A wonderful session, like it's therapy. Maybe that's why I'm all into this like hour cutoff. That's hilarious because that's my habit as a therapist in private practice. You know, your therapy sessions are 50 minutes of the hour because you have to have your 10 minutes in between to go to the bathroom, get your water, and get your next person. But you also have that 10 minutes leeway. So sometimes a 50-minute hour becomes a little bit more, and then it can just throw your whole day off. And then the last person of your day is like mad because you're like half an hour, 40 minutes late, and they don't think that you respect them or something when it couldn't be further from the truth. Anyway, my guy is retired bailiff from King County, Washington. Annie Ruler, what? I worked for King County. I worked for Kitsap County, and then I worked for King County. Oh my goodness. We need to email, or if you want to tell me here the years that he was there, we might have some good note comparison, like with the Mia Zapata case and some other things. Yeah, I'm fascinated. King County, when. Let's see. Grew up in the five and dime store. Okay. That's funny. I know we used to have a five and dime store. I love those five and dime stores, but now I guess you just call them Dollar Tree or Dollar General, and they've gone all corporate rather than just the little ma and pa places that were so cool. Yeah, not even at the dollar store. I wonder how much their eggs are right now and their milk. No worries, Zena. It was a great live. All right, you guys. Yes, Kaz, thanks. Thank you. It's like therapy. It really is for me. I love having these sessions with you guys. So thanks. Thank you so much. Have a great day. I always like to remind myself and everybody here to drink your water, eat your protein, eat your produce, your fruits, and twice as many vegetables as fruits, and hopefully 10 servings a day. So that would be what? Like only 3.5 servings of fruit and like 6.5 servings of veggies. Hard to do, but try to do it if you can. It makes such a difference. Like you literally will feel better immediately, like same day. You don't even have to wait till the next day. If you're hydrated and eating high protein and doing your produce, and you don't even have to exercise, just like sitting still and meditating or resting for 30 minutes is a great thing to do for yourself. All right, I'm gonna speed through these and then get back with you guys later. A lot of shipping containers are sitting in California, not allowed for truckers to pick up, done on purpose. Gotcha. For the problems with prices. The probable cause affidavit proved to me that law enforcement has a good grip on the case, holding info close, and I know they have more info on roommates than we do. They will be witnesses and can't speak. He was King County. Judge Cook's son is our friend. Okay, 86 to 2013. Cool. I was there around the year 2000, a couple of years on either side of the year 2000. So I worked in the mental health court and I worked in the family court. So yeah, right there at the King County Superior Courthouse. Superior, silly. Anyway, it was crappy. It was not superior. I would say that the place was all gray marble inside, like the walls, the floors, the columns, everything was like solid gray marble, which is cool, right? Except that all the people that worked there, their face kind of matched the gray marble. Annie Ruler, share that with your hubby and tell me what his response is if he hadn't come up with the same thing himself. But yeah, it was a place that paid well, but it sucked the life out of people. I remember a woman, he might have known her. She was one of the receptionists at the front desk for like 20 years or more. And she just up and quit her job and moved to Hawaii and got married. And this is a job that pays well, you guys. You don't just quit a job like that. It's sort of, I call it like the velvet handcuffs. You get a job like that, you stay in it until you retire because you're not going to make even half the amount of money anywhere else. And, I felt like I kind of escaped those velvet handcuffs just barely by the skin of my teeth. Thank goodness. Because otherwise I would still be there. and I would have no time for YouTube. Thank you for all the information, Heavenly Clouds. Thank you. And you should have a general chat show you're a very interesting person. Oh, you're sweet. I don't know about having a second channel. Having one channel is a lot, and I love it. I love it. So just keep it all on the same channel, if that's allowed. Based on what Dylan heard, I think it was Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan, also based on the affidavit. Right. But it also doesn't really make sense that he walked right past 3 people, at least one of which was awake, and then went upstairs for 5 minutes and then came down. And, Ethan, you would think would have been his biggest challenge because Ethan was a big athletic man. Xana, not so big, but really athletic. She was an accomplished gymnast, and it sounds like she fought like hell. Really sad. Have a lovely day, Pixie Knickers says. Yeah, you guys, I'm going to say peace out. Thanks again, and hopefully see you tonight around 7:30. I'll put that up, and see you then. Have a great day. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to everyone around you, and be sure to have everyone treat you with the respect that you deserve, and treat everyone around you with respect, and everything should go pretty well then, right? In theory, but it's true. It's so important. Don't hang out with people that you don't respect or that don't respect you, period.